of the visit of President Tony Tan Kenyon to Egypt, which actually lasted from the 30th of October till today, November the 3rd. And during this visit, many memorandums of understandings were signed. In addition to that, this visit marks the 50th anniversary between the relations between Egypt and Singapore. And to shed more light on that important meeting, I'm happy to have with me journalist and political writer, Mr. Gamal Zayda. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Sir, this is, I believe this is the first such kind of a visit by a Singaporean president to the country, and also the visit of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to Singapore was the first by an Egyptian president. If you can tell us, or walk us through the relations between the two countries and how has it developed since President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi took office?
Let me tell you the importance of Singapore as economic and financial hub in Southeast Asia. It's extremely important. I'm going to tell you what I have seen during my visit to Singapore 2 years ago. I was invited by the Singaporean ambassador in Cairo to Singapore, where I met the Prime Minister, the ministers, and many officials over there. During that visit, I knew a lot about the Singaporean experience. First of all, when the British occupation withdrew from Singapore, the per capita income was very, very little. Singapore was suffering from many economic problems. They had to, Lee Kuan Yew, the founder of the new Singapore, made a lot to unify the ethnic groups in the island as well. They have a very brilliant experience when it comes to the economy. And now the per capita income in Singapore is 53,000 US dollars, one of the highest per capita incomes worldwide.
I believe in Singapore, sorry to jump in, I believe in Singapore it's easier to order a pizza, to open a business than to order a pizza.
Yeah, in fact they are very efficient. When it comes to launch a new investment in Singapore, it's amazing. It's a very small island, but they are exploiting every centimeter on this island. Go and see the kind of projects, how they handle the containers, the shipping services over there. It's extremely important. From there you can know how they had much interest in the polytechnic schools. They didn't establish or launch new universities like us. And in Egypt we don't need many universities, but we need more advanced polytechnic schools, to serve the different sectors of the economy. So the visit of the Singapore president to Egypt is extremely important because of the Suez Canal development projects, which has been launched recently, because it has to do with the marine and shipping activities, and Singapore can give us a lot of experience, a lot of investments when it comes with the new Suez Canal development area. As Dr. Ahmed Darwish was explaining 2 days ago about this new development area, that we don't have to compete with Dubai or Singapore. We can complete each other's. That's why I do believe that the visit of the Singapore president to Egypt focused on that kind of cooperation, how we coordinate with Singapore when it comes to the investments, when it comes to the industries, when it comes to trade. Let me tell you that the GDP, the gross domestic product of Singapore is equal to Egypt's GDP. And you have to take into consideration that the population over there is 5.5 million people.
That's
but in
sad.
Egypt we are more than 90 million, and we are approaching 100 million people. So the GDP of the Egyptian economy is not representing us as a nation and as a country. We have to do a lot when it comes to the development. We have to know how to develop the different productive sectors, not only the trade and to depend on the remittances coming from the Egyptian workers in the Gulf countries, or the fees coming from the Suez Canal crossing ships, or I mean, we have to develop our production sector to be able to export to abroad, and to have balance on the balance of trade and balance of payment, and the regarding the I mean the foreign reserve at the Central Bank of Egypt, as we are suffering from the lack of hard currency. Yeah. So we cannot depend on tourism only, but we have to learn from Singapore a lot. Let me tell you that the trade between Egypt and Singapore is not much. I mean, we are talking about I mean a small amount of US dollars, and we have to work a lot. I mean, to increase trade with Singapore, to coordinate with them when it comes to the marine lines and marine traffic with them. We have to use their expertise when it comes to developing our ports. So the visit is important. Singapore is important when it comes to development and when it comes to trade, and as a financial center.
And education as well. I think that one of the memorandums of understanding were about education as well.
Of course. I mean, that's why I mentioned my visit to the Polytechnic schools in Singapore. You know, the Singaporean young men and women, when they would like to join a university in Singapore, what they do? I mean, the government will not finance their education at the universities. But I mean, if you can afford to join a university, they go to Australia. Can you imagine? So they join the Australian universities, I mean, to complete their higher education. Not like in Egypt. We have to change our concepts when it comes to the education. The state has to be in charge of the education from KGB till the end of the high school. But regarding the universities, I mean, I do believe we don't need all this number of graduates from the different universities. We have to focus on the quality of education
rather than the quantity.
That's it, and putting into consideration that we don't have a single Egyptian university among the top 500 universities worldwide. I mean, we should know what they have been doing in Harvard, Yale, MIT, Stanford universities, and in Oxford and UK and different parts of the world, how they improve the quality of education, because we have to make emphasis on education and healthcare in Egypt if we are talking about development.
Now, another important field which we're expecting to benefit from the Singaporean expertise in is that of energy.
Yes.
So how can we benefit from them in that field?
Singapore is an extremely important point when it comes to the oil industry, because it's a link, it's a hub for the trade of oil. I mean, crossing the Southeast Asia to Japan. I mean, Hong Kong and Singapore is extremely important. I mean, when it comes to the oil trade in this important part of the world. So we have to know what did they do to improve their pros. I mean, to improve this kind of trade. And I have been talking with the ambassador of Singapore here. I mean, every time I meet him during a reception or a cocktail or something like that, they appreciate very much the importance of Egypt in the Middle East, and they want to increase their economic cooperation with Egypt. But I mean, we have to put on the table, I mean, an effective agenda, and we, as a government, to work on it to increase our relations with Singapore.
Yeah, in line with what you said, sir, the Singaporean president has been accompanied by a business delegation led by the Singapore Business Federation, and we hope that several MOUs will be signed and mutual and bilateral trade will happen between Egypt and Singapore, and also I think educational programs will come in handy as well.
In fact, the educational programs is extremely important because over there all the graduates from the polytechnic schools, they serve the economy over there in Singapore. I mean, you can find them in IT, information technology sectors. You can, as you know, I mean, you are broadcasters, and you know the importance of the digital revolution worldwide. I mean, in the economy, it's not just for chatting on Facebook, Twitter, or exchanging pictures on Instagram, but I mean, it has to do with the international world economy. I mean, the world economy depends on the digital revolution. I mean, through the information, they define the markets, they do analysis for the consumers, and they sell the information to the multinational companies. And that's why I do believe that we have to do a jump when it comes to this industry. We are not focusing, unfortunately, on the digital revolution, if I may call it industry, because the digital revolution has to do not only with the business, trade, investment, and different economic aspects, but also with security matters, with directing the public opinion when it comes to politics. As you know, we are in a big dilemma in the Middle East, and you see what's happening in Syria, in Iraq, in Yemen, in Libya, and that's why we have to focus on raising and graduating a new generation who will be experts when it comes to deal with the software and the digital revolution.
Yes.
On the sidelines of the visit, the president also met with the heads of the various religious institutions, the Islamic and Coptic institutions.
Yes.
The significance of these meetings.
It's important. Thank you for asking this question, because when you visit Singapore, you will find a very old Muslim minority over there in Singapore, and they have a museum, beautiful museum, which explains the trips coming from Yemen, long 100 years ago, from Yemen to Southeast Asia, and they settled down on the island, and you will see them Muslims, and the women are wearing veils, and they love to I mean, to send their children to Al-Azhar University.
Yes.
So Al-Azhar University is pivotal, I mean, for the relation with the Muslim countries. And And I do believe that Al-Azhar played an important role in the past. And if you go to Malaysia, if you go to Indonesia, you will find many officials and politicians whom had been educated in Al-Azhar.
Yes.
So we have to give more focus on that, because this will be reflected on our relations with these countries.
Yes, unfortunately we're running out of time, but we have to dedicate further talk about such important points you're raising here, sir. Mr. Gamal Zayda, a political commentator and journalist, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Cruise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. And now we'll be looking into a report and an interview with the celebrity and international singer Michael Bolton, who came to visit Egypt.